So we have a second video sequence that will include addresses from Khenpo Namdrol Rinpoche, Sogyal Rinpoche, Shamar Rinpoche, Gelek Rinpoche, and Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche.
Tare gadin chenji kewang kujab jeans miti cho ten logrudo shilo nintong chu dawa chuni bi tse chudini kuhye bala ten rongwe ne hachangi lopamungang nyangin hyugye kong rangre namla shindu gadin chitsirni namba sanji bi jenju tarbadan tamchin chenbi gompon drumkin hila de medo mirungbi chachene tene sanje dan jenju kepa jupa dan jibi sunrab lebamji zusu yukba yingeres tetar yimbe tene sanje ji ndo lechang tene lebam nam sanje ji turba yimba.
He reminded me of one of the Panditas and the great Lotsavas of the past, a true translator, a genius, a giant in his field. He had mastered a staggering number of languages, and whenever anybody spoke of him, they spoke of his tremendous goodness and kindness in his constant generosity. He would always make himself available to help, and everyone remembers also his extraordinary simplicity and humility, a mark of truly an authentic scholar. Jin was someone who exemplified the teachings in his life. He was learning with such ease and sometimes with a wicked sense of humor. In Tibet, Jin Smith would easily have been seen as a bodhisattva or an enlightened emanation. Gelek Rinpoche put it so beautifully in his tribute to Jin. If I may quote his words, in his brain he was a great knowledge like a human computer, and I believe Jin was a manifestation of Manjusri's wisdom. His heart was filled with such loving kindness, which was the same as Avalokiteshvara's. His hand that possessed unique competence and skill made him an equal to Vajrapani. To everyone who met him, he was a loving bodhisattva. I think we can see, if you look at Jin's life, that he had a very special destiny. How fortunate it was that in the early days in Seattle, he met the great Gelek Rinpoche, one of Tibet's greatest scholars and authority in all schools of Tibetan Buddhism, and inherit from him his wisdom and learning. And how auspicious it was that Jin was there in India at the critical time in our history when the Tibetans were coming into exile, bringing with them countless rare texts and writings, while in the homeland our culture was being destroyed. And how momentous it was that Jin recognized the preciousness of this literary heritage, and he saw that the whole vast body of Tibetan literature was in danger of being lost. And so he started his extraordinary pioneering work of collecting, documenting, understanding, explaining, bringing together the literature of an entire civilization on a scale never before imagined or attempted, let alone achieved.
It was in the year 2000. Yeah, in year 2000, I met him in Boston at his library, and he gave me lunch. That time he extremely pleased about my work on the completion of all known texts of Mahamudra meditation teachings. He advised me to do the same for the 6 yoga of Naropa in Kagyu tradition, which I took into the consideration and already started by now.
And also not only he's scholar, but he's a total Buddhist practitioner. He's totally devoted to his masters in general, particularly that of Dzong Rinpoche. He told me sometime in Delhi that if I don't listen what Dzong Rinpoche says, I get into trouble, with a little crooked smile in his face. And he says, when he told me stay away from a motorcycle, and that day I had a motorcycle accident, he mentioned. And Jean not only listens not to drive a motorcycle, but the Dzong Rinpoche's advisors are life guardians for him. And Jean's contribution of not only this publishing in India, but digitalizing and electronically making available to everyone. Now, I was told all the collections can even fit one iPad. And such a contribution is a tremendous, is immeasurable contribution. Many hundreds of scholars can work on that, and there will be their guidance for future. And the losses of Jean is a really terrible loss, and I will miss him a lot.
Inconceivable. I can tell you my personal story. When I was studying in Saki College, this is in 1970s. I remember when we were studying Madhyamika Avatara, there was about 18 students, and there was only 2 commentary texts. That has to be shared within 18 students. So imagine, there was no photocopy machine, or forget about computer, any of that. And just about a year or 2 after that, Gene Smith's this vision of printing this rare text suddenly made it so possible, especially as a student we could buy with such a small amount of money. Just personally for myself. It would be such a shame if people like me forgets what he has done. Now, as we all know, Buddhism is not reserved or it's not belong to Tibet or Tibetan. It's for sentient being. It's for everyone. And I hope that not only we, the Tibetans, the Bhutanese, Sikkimese, we can emulate a great, person like Gene Smith's courage and relentless diligence, I hope that also from the Western Dharma students will emulate what he has done. And if we do that, then I think we will not forget Jane Smith for a long, long time. That's it.